What's going on, guys? I'm just wanting to do a quick video here on just an update from my last video that I did here on Monday, and it's been a great week in the markets. Things have definitely played out very well this week, and I just wanted to do a quick update here for you guys. Sorry for not doing any live streaming today, as I am a little pressed for time, but I'll go ahead and do this quick overview here and update. So I'll start here with the dollar. So we were watching it here since last week, and last week we saw a push here from the bottom of this level right over here with the confidence. The consumer confidence reports that came out, it did give the dollar some strength last week, which we did see last week there as we were watching all the U.S. pairs. You can tell that all the U.S. pairs did have some strength. So evidently, we were looking for a weak dollar this week in order to execute our trades, and that is exactly what happened. So if you remember, I had identified the dollar index did have a bullish channel here going to the upside. And as you can see, it has been ranging in this channel right in here. And we were looking for, to catch either on the top or on the bottom, depending where, what pairs that you're looking at for this week, for that week. And with my analysis that I did, I wanted a weak dollar to go ahead and line up with the pairs that I wanted to execute on, which I'll be going over here. But as you can see, this played out beautifully. It's been ranging right in this channel, as you can see, and has been reacting pretty nicely, and it just reacted beautifully right here. This was on, I believe this was on Monday as well. It was right in here on Sunday and went up to test this level right up here. And as I had mentioned, that's what I was ultimately looking for. And I was wanting to see a shift in the seller momentum, which we evidently did end up seeing right over here. And of course, with these pushes to the downside here. So this was a great trade this week. If you did follow along, it did play out perfectly, and I hope you guys were able to catch some pips on this pair. If you don't trade the dollar index, I hope you were able to capitalize on the other signals that I went ahead and gave out this week. I had mentioned this correlation here with the Euro USD, as the dollar index and the Euro USD do correlate here negatively. And so same thing on the Euro USD, it has a bearish channel since it's correlating negatively with the dollar. And you can see how this has been playing out here. And excuse my mess here in these lines. I kind of placed them a little oddly, but I'm mainly looking at this inside line right in here. And this bottom line right here, which is the trend lines going to the downside, making the bearish channel. And as you can see, same thing here. This is the daily chart. Went ahead, tested this trend line right here, the bottom of that channel, and did get a nice reaction as we were able to see the buyers go ahead and step up and push through right in there. So this was another nice trade. It did go ahead and reach our target, which was right in this area here, which was a previous seller that had brought it here. So like I mentioned, this was a good trade as well. I actually didn't trade this pair or the dollar index. The only pairs that I went ahead and traded were the pound and pound USD and also USD CAD. And I will tell you why I did so here. And the reason is because I have been waiting to see signs of a reversal happen, which I have seen here with the pound USD. I was just waiting for the dollar index to line up with it so I can have an additional confirmation on this trade here. So as you can see, it is the pound versus the US dollar. And so that of course, if we have a strong dollar and most likely we will see a loss in strength in the US pairs. So in that case, whatever pair that the US dollar is against will most likely be showing signs of bearish movement. Same thing goes the other way. If we see a strength in the US dollar, any pair that is going against the dollar, we're most likely going to see a bullish move there. Just like we did in Euro USD, and same like we saw here this week in the pound. So as you can see, this is what I have been watching here. It went ahead and tested these major levels. I remember Monday talking, I wasn't too sure if it was going to come down and test this 1.19943 level, which it did go ahead and test before showing that momentum to the upside with the buyers. So another beautifully executed trade. If you followed this one, there were some very good pips made on this pair this week. As you can see, went ahead and tested right above this level. And let me break it down to smaller time frames so we can kind of see what was going on in that time here. So let me back it up just a little bit. Let's go over here to the 4 hour. Here we go. Alrighty, so as you can see, we had a dip here last week, and this week we saw retest here of this level and ultimately a reversal, and we had some strong buyer momentum here, a strong bullish move. And if you were able to watch these levels and capitalize, set your stop right under that level there, so you can securely enter the trade, and it would have been a very nice trade to play out this week. And as I said, you can go ahead and break it down to the smaller time frames to look for entry as you do see those those pairs playing out in your favor. You want to look for entry there and kind of gauge the momentum to see what's going to happen next. So as you can see here, with the dollar, with the pound USD, we see these sellers start to majorly slow down, and from, of course, the previous moves that they were making, went ahead and came into some consolidation area, and you can see how these sellers were battling it out, and ultimately these buyers came in, created 100% retracement, very weak retest here with these sellers, right into this zone right in here, and ultimately we saw another strong push, which are showing us the buyers are back in the market. Another weak pullback here from the sellers, and a continuation, of course, with it to continuously go up here. It is Wednesday today, so I am out of the market. I am believing that there is going to be a midweek reversal, so we might see a retest in these levels, or maybe a pullback here from the sellers, maybe to this level here, maybe to this level. We might see a continuation, but I've been very, 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 very careful with the markets these past few weeks, just because there has been a lot going on in the news, and there has been a lot of fundamentally driven movement in the markets lately. So I know last week we had some good setups there, but ultimately, I mean, they did go ahead and play out. We did see some reaction, but ultimately they did not have full reversals and play the way we expected them to. A lot of that reason is because the fundamentals were able to break through our technical analysis and break through these technical levels that we had placed there. And it's not only us, it's also all the other traders that are out there that do trade technically rather than fundamentally. But that's why it is a good idea to stay well-rounded. so you can best know which next step to take when taking advantage of the markets. And of course, I'm going to go ahead and keep you guys all up to date with that as well. So another pair here that played out. And then last one here, I've been waiting for this one for quite a while, and we had a strong push here, which is showing some very, very good momentum. We can keep an eye on this pair here. For the main part, I've been worried about the dollar, that it's going to push either to new heights or it's either going to tank. I'm more leaning towards it is going to keep losing strength, but we're going to have to wait and see what happens when non-farm payroll comes out this week and see how the dollar reacts to that. If we do have a negative reaction, I can see this pair here continuing to reach new lows here in the weeks to come. As you can see here, we're just barely able to cover this move here. So we still do have a lot of potential for this pair to reach lows. So our next target, we can aim right over here. But of course, I am out of the market as it has been fundamentally driven in the past 2 weeks, and especially with non-farm payroll coming out, we want to be careful, because if that report comes out strong, we can see some buyer interest in the dollar and it overall strengthening. So like I mentioned, I had been watching this pair right in this zone. We had seen these nice candles that showed indication of rejection, and ultimately we were able to see that market roll over. Here on the 4-hour, we have a lower low, lower close, as well as battling this previous buyer move here, and ultimately closing that 100% before retracing one more time up to this level here, which was the level that we were closely watching, which it had previously been rejected time after time. As you can see over the weeks, rejection, 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 another rejection, and now we are under this bullish trend line here. We went ahead and broke under, giving a great sign that the market is getting ready to roll over before, of course, making one last push to the upside, retesting this trend line here as it went under. So now that went ahead and acted as resistance. So we had a retest of this trend line here, ultimately showing that level going down, down, and down. So another pair, and just to give you an idea of what that move was, let's see, just this week, it went ahead and moved 150 pips. I was able to capitalize here on this pair, and I got in right around this level here. I wrote it out for a little bit here, and I did take this draw back, but ultimately it did end up going my way, which I was very stoked about. And like I mentioned, this trade went ahead and panned out beautifully. Even that second move there with the retest is still about 100 pips. So definitely some pips that were caught this week. And if you guys were following, I do hope that you guys were able to capitalize at least on one of those pairs. But this was just a week where everything went as planned. Those weeks are always great, of course, especially when you're able to capitalize and catch those pips. I've always known to go ahead and ride these out. And of course, since I did get, a very good entry and I was able to write it down to these lows right here, I did decide to get out and take my profits. Now, if you're still in this pair here, you can do one of two things. If I were you and you were still in this pair, if you did get in at a good price here before that drop, I would recommend either setting your stops to break even, or I would even move your stops right into this handle right in here, which is that previous little range that it was in, which is 1.0 3277. So if you want to check out that level there, I would suggest either moving your stop to break even or moving it here to this handle right in here. This is the only pair that I'm still keeping my eyes on. But of course, since it is a US pair and we have that very strong news coming out on Friday, I would be very careful, especially if you are planning on holding it through Friday. Latest, I would suggest to, move your stop or close out in profits. No later than Thursday night, as people are going to start pulling out of the market and waiting to see what's going to happen after non-farm payroll. So those are the basically the four pairs that I went over last week. Like I mentioned, it was a great week. We're able to get in and out. I mean, it's Wednesday. These trades, you should have been able to capitalize and get in and out. I was in these trades for about 2 days, and they did exactly what I wanted them to. So I went ahead and took my profits here before a midweek reversal, or with the news coming out, which is very important. But if you guys have any questions on those there, I do apologize for going through here very quickly. But I'm going to be active on my social media and on my chats. So send me a message if you guys have any questions. And yeah, let me know if you guys were able to capitalize on any of those moves. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your trading week if you are still active in the markets. But let's go ahead and check out what non-farm payroll is going to do here this upcoming Friday. So it does come out at 5 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m., which is Eastern Time if you're on the East Coast there. I am in the U.S. I'm actually in California here. So if I ever refer to time and don't mention Pacific Standard, this is where I'm at, guys. But thank you guys for watching. I hope that you guys are able to learn something from this and gain some value from this. As always, I hope you guys are able to like and subscribe to my channel. I definitely like seeing you guys get excited about these videos and of course seeing some value in it. But other than that, you guys have a great rest of your night, and we'll go ahead and catch up here on Sunday after non-farm payroll and see what is going to be happening in the markets this upcoming week. As always, we will look to capitalize and look for opportunities. So I'm going to go ahead and keep you guys updated on what's coming out. But you guys have a great night. Thanks again.